I think so that we can start, Coach. All right.
Excellent.
So, hello everyone. Hello, Coach. Today we host head coach of Polish national team, Coach Michael Taylor. Hello, Coach.
David, how are you?
I'm fine, and how are you doing?
Everything's good. Really appreciate the chance to come talk some basketball, and it's nice to see some familiar faces, online. So I really am thankful the federation came up with the idea for these clinics, and I think the clinics are a great use of time here during the coronavirus crisis, as most people are away from their normal routine and have a little bit more time at home. I think these clinics are a great way to think about basketball, talk about basketball, and share some ideas. So I'm really thankful, that we could make this happen today.
Yeah, exactly. So let's start, and please share your knowledge and your experience. Okay.
Thank you. So, as we've seen the development of the national team in my era since coming in 2014, I think it's been pretty clear that we've had a very strong structure in terms of our offense and our defense. And I think in the beginning, what we were doing was different than what Poland had seen before. I think that we've really established a really good team-oriented system where the team has great flexibility. Everyone can be dangerous on the floor. Everyone can make an impact. And as coaches, we have a lot of control over, getting the matchups we want, creating the situations we want. And the whole point here today for me is to share what has worked for us and talk about a lot of different points, a lot of different details. And I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy, at the end to talk about some of these things. And I would just encourage people to think about, our system has been our strength for, 7 years. It has, allowed us to continue to push forward and achieve some really good things together. It's a very team-oriented game. And what I want to try to do is really, share some of these details more than we've ever shared before with the coaches in Poland to try to help them really understand some of the details that went into the great run in China and where our team is right now playing. So I hope that coaches can take one or two things from, this talk today and use them as really good ideas to get them thinking and try to help them improve their teams, whatever, men's team, women's team, youth team, professional team, whatever. These are just concepts that have worked for us in Poland, and I'm really, happy to share these today with everyone. So we'll get started here. Obviously, it's one thing to take over a team and really try to put a positive, try to turn it into a positive environment and a positive culture. And we were fortunate to do that early on. But I think the things that we've done over the last few years, we've really established a strong core. I think a great big part of establishing your culture goes to your staff. And we've had really good coaches from Poland over the years. We've had very few changes up until, after the World Cup. We wanted to try to, impact some other young rising Polish coaches. But I think your coaching staff is critical, and we'll talk more about that as we get into, the use of your staff and what you look for in your staff. But I think the core of the players, I think this is something that has really been fantastic to see these guys develop and rise to the challenges. But they have been working together hard for years to master our system. And this creates a very on-task situation for the team. Everyone is working together to master the offensive system, to pick up the details, to understand it. And I think we've had some guys who have really done a great job in terms of using the system. A guy like Robert Skineski came in right away and really responded. All of the different coaches and different people he played for, he immediately loved the flexibility and the detail and the structure of the system. And he was one of these players that was able to make his teammates better as a floor general, as a leader. Łukasz Koszarek, we've called him a Polish legend, playing, 200 games for the national team, doing so many great things, really understanding how to make our team in offense run better. The important game against Russia in the second half, when we weren't clicking offensively, he relied on the system to help us organize it, get the ball where it needed to go. And I think this is the type of structure that is really good for team basketball and really good for winning basketball. So we want to share some of these teaching points, coaching points, and details with all the coaches online today. We start with a couple things that we create with the team. Again, these are more in terms of, coaches I think in Poland have seen these before. This is the mentality around the team. We say a lot about be the best version of yourself, be the best team, and be the best when it matters the most. And, you can do a whole clinic on this whole concept, but the best version of yourself every single day, players showing up to be the best they can, to be the best team, again, doing the team things great, being really connected and being really together. And if you are the best version of yourself and you're really connected with your teammates, you have a chance to be the best when it matters the most. And I think this was the mindset that our team really relied on in China. I think our guys, the players have developed into a position where they're not afraid of that big stage. And they really took that challenge together, relying, on our system and structure as a team. Again, with our guys and our coaches and everyone, getting to the World Cup was a really significant achievement for Polish basketball. And for me, what made it special was the fact that we did something special together. The players, the coaches would be remembered forever in Poland as, hey, these are the guys that earned the right to go to the World Cup in China. And then with that opportunity, what did they do with it? It was something special, a fantastic run, and something the whole country could be proud of. So, again, the fact that we tried to do something special together. Again, with comments and quotes, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So again, analyzing each individual. Are you doing things that are aligned with your goals? Are you working hard? Are you, paying doing the extra work? And again, with our situation, are you working at a high enough pace and preparing and performing, producing at a high enough pace that you're going to be able to, on a world stage, deliver? And again, I love this picture because you see Mateusz rising up above Gasol, to tip the ball in, to make the play, to finish. And again, it's rising to that challenge and overcoming. Things we talk about with our team, again, everyone knows I'm a very positive person. I'm a very optimistic person. As a coach, this is a big part of the coaching style that I have. It's natural, it's genuine, and we want our players to play positive. And playing positive means not getting caught up in any of the negative emotions or negative situations of the game. This was on display when we beat China, and you're trailing in the game with like 7 seconds to go. It looks bad, but the team finds a way to survive and make a play, not wasting any energy on the negative thought about, oh, it's over, we're going to quit, we're going to give up. No, playing positive the entire time. This is another big part of shaping the mindset of our team. Winning the next play in terms of our system. Once you have your system structured, again, the competitiveness of being focused and trying to win the next play, whatever the circumstances are, get that defensive stop, execute together and get that big basket. Again, winning the game one play at a time, I think very, very important. Team toughness also, I think that, we've been through a lot of experiences through the years, and it toughened us up. It prepared us for the run in China. And I think Adam Marciniak is a perfect embodiment of the team toughness. A lot of people may not, have realized the level of player that he has been over years. He's been a fantastic blue-collar, hard-working team player. He's been great for the national team. He's the type of player that can be a starter, or he can be behind other really good players, as he was for most of his career. And really, Adam was a big part of our success because he brought so much team toughness to the floor in Poland. So, again, emphasizing that competitiveness, that toughness, and that positive attitude. We talk about competing together. And again, the one thing about our system, when you really dig into it and understand it and learn it, I think it gives players a chance to really utilize it together. And here, Kamil Łączyński, as we said before with Robert Skiernieski, Kamil has done a fantastic job with our team. You know, I think in the beginning, he kind of came in as a backup and then was away from the team for a couple of years. He developed really well, leading Anvil to championships. And like Adam Hartsouniak, Kamil was a guy that was behind other players, but yet when we needed him to step up, there were several times. The first window of the qualifications when he played and started, with I think it was the Hungary game. But I think everybody will really remember Kamil for the big game and the big window where we beat Croatia at home when he played so well as a floor general point guard for us. So when you have players that are able to step in and compete together, play different roles, and be really all about the team, these are valuable guys that really make a big impact on your team's success. Again, you'll see a lot of positive coaching. Again, we want to try to build good relationships with the players and push them forward and really help these guys, believe in themselves. So I think when you add all of these coaching points, these details together, you shape the mindset of the team, being a really team first and competitive and tough mindset, and that sets the table for your system. So as we get into the system, again, a lot of coaches will talk about players and overloading them with too much. I'm a believer that players are smart, and I've always treated players as very intelligent. I think, it's about conditioning. It's about training. It's about learning the right way to pick up plays. And I think that it's a habit, it's a skill that you can improve with your team. So we constantly are giving our players information and having them pick that information up and apply it. And many times they don't even realize it's happening. But all of the information that you're giving guys, they naturally adapt to it, adjust to it, and then you can really kind of settle them in. We use the example of when you move to a new city. You're in this new city, and in the beginning, you're looking around. You don't know where to go. You don't know the roads. You don't know the areas or the neighborhoods. And the city seems so big. But after you've lived in that city for a while, you start to know your way around. You start to know the main roads. Then you know the shortcuts. And pretty soon, the city does not seem as big anymore. And this is kind of how we look at our system. We have a lot of terminology. We have a lot of different actions. But once you understand the terminology, once you understand the structure, which we'll share with you today, and I think it becomes easy for guys just to pick the information up and apply it, because there's hints all the way through the play calls, the circumstances that help players understand what we're trying to do. Right, so let's look at the big picture of the Polish offensive system for the last few years. You can see on the left of your screen, this is the FIBA World Cup offense. And we have a lot of different transitions. We'll talk more in detail about our transitions as we go. We have sets. We have different plays for attacking mismatches and creating matchups for us. 2-for-1, free throw offense, zone attack, press attack, sideline, end line. So that's basically the offensive structure. And again, coaches, we have never shared this in detail with coaches before, right? So this is, first time look at the real system that the players ran in China. And we want to share this for a purpose to try to help grow the game and help people understand what went into the really good run. On the right side of the screen, this is from Windows 6. This is what coaches, what we work with, what I work with in the game in terms of play calling for players. So what are the sets for players? You see Mateusz Panika, Adam Wyszynski, Maciek Lempe at the 5, Maciek Lempe at the 4. AJ Slaughter at the 1, AJ Slaughter at the 2, Koszarek at the 1, Koszarek at the 2, and then players all the way down. So as you can see, if we feel there's a matchup or a place we want to attack our opponents, these are the plays we have ready and prepared, to go to. Again, if you sub in a backup player, let's say you put Michał Sokolowski in the game, and you feel like you want to put him in a post-up situation, then if you look at Socko on the right side here, you see 3 down. We would try to call a 3-down post-up situation for him as a wing. So this is kind of how the structure worked and how we tried to get to the plays that we wanted to get to for our players. And as you can see, there's different plays for each player at different positions, but they're very similar in many ways. When we go back to the left side of the screen, when you take a look here, the transitions, And again, as I said, we'll get into more detail with that. But, you know, for me, there's a whole how fast you want to play, what type of pace you want to play with. These are philosophical questions that I hope this presentation will get coaches thinking about. The set plays, you know, again, when you see the terminology and organization of it, I think a lot of these things will make a little bit more sense. But this is the system and the structure that helped our team, you know, become a very good, efficient offensive team and help put the players in positions to be successful and play to their strengths. As we move on, again, we look again, behind the scenes look, FIBA World Cup 2019 offensive attack. As a coach, when we wanted to post up players in the post, we talked about these plays: 45 strong split, 4 high, 45 rub, rollback, early 5, slice 5. If we wanted to post guards, again, the 3 down situation. If teams played a hard show pick and roll, we were prepared to go to these sets, pick and roll against the ice coverage on the side. With a popping 5, we tried to get into these situations. C coverage, again, you know, Spain pick and roll coverage. Second playmaker, right? So not your point guard being a pick and roll playmaker. Again, these plays really good for Konika or Slaughter. Second side of the action, if a team is really trying to play pressure and physical on the first side, try to get a ball reversal in there or 2 ball reversals and attack. Screening, hammer, like a flare special, corner specific screen. Cuts, drives, mismatches, sideline, inline, zone. Again, you know, this is basically your framework that we tried to quickly be prepared as teams went with different types of coverages that we expected. We prepared from these plays to have our guys ready to go. So again, I would encourage from your offensive system, whatever team you're running, whatever team you're working, you get into the detail, get into the depth, and try to prepare the team as well as you possibly can, how they want to, you know, attack together. So we try to say 5 players as one. We'll talk more about that later. But everyone read the game together. Read the game the same way. We all see this pick and roll coverage. What's the coverage? It's a hard show. We're going to react together in this way. And I think, again, this is where our Polish guys did such a fantastic job of playing together, reading the game together, and really being a fun offensive team to watch. So a lot of our situation starts with terminology. And again, you know, when I got to Poland, I think one of the interesting things for players was it was more of an NBA terminology, more of an American terminology. And as you talk to players and coach players, you want to give them details. You have to help them understand with precision where you want them to be. So you talk about naming the floor. You talk about these points. Everybody talks about the nail, the rim, the deep corner, low wing, dunker spot, right block, left block. You know, the Malone spot is a spot that we use for a lot of different points. This is named after Karl Malone from the old Jazz, and it's the midpoint from the corner to the elbow. You know, so again, as you be specific in a post-up situation, we want to have floor spacing in the deep corner, opposite corner fill. We want to have a cutter at the 45, and we want a 45 cut in this situation. Players can understand from the floor spacing you're talking about, the terminology, where they're supposed to be, right? So I think that it's important that you go through these things with players, you explain these things with players, and again, the more they hear them, the easier this stuff becomes. So I would encourage coaches to get into the detail of specific offensive floor terminology. All the way up top. Again, you know, we talked about philosophically what coaches are thinking, how you want to play. You know, the Suns from a few years ago, Mike D'Antoni, 7 seconds or less, really kind of open up the pace of the game. And we've seen the game become faster and teams want to play faster. And it makes sense. You want to try to attack a defense before they're set. But I think you have to think offensively as a coach. Where do you want your actions to take place? When I first got to Europe in 2001, it was much the old school tradition. It was a 24-second shot clock. A to B to C to D to E, controlled offense. And a lot of coaches would say, I would rather take a 24-second shot clock violation than a live ball turnover. But I think you've got to give your players freedom to play. You've got to give your team freedom to attack, and teaching them to play together, helping them understand how to play together can really become a fantastic thing for your team. You've also got to be able to build in the ball movement to your offense. If you have an A to B to C to D to E structure of your offense, many times it's easier to disrupt. It's easier to pressure. It's easier to guard. So for us with Poland, what we've tried to do, we've tried to play at a fast pace as quickly as we can. We'll see the continuum in a few more slides. We've tried to play with quick hitter actions where we get what we want from the system that you saw. We'll get a pick and roll with A.J. Slaughter on the wing. We'll get a screen up top, pick and roll with Mateus. We'll try to get the ball into the post to one of our big men. We'll run Adam Vachinsky off screens. So we try to create the situation that we want offensively that we think is going to help our team create an advantage, look to build on that advantage. But as we build on that advantage, it's quick hitter and then shot clock to play. And I think this is why you've seen our team have a lot, really become difficult to guard and really have good teamwork and a fun coaching, like just good offensive style, because there's the structure from, okay, coach wants us to get what we want with this matchup or this situation, this play, but then you have the freedom and teamwork, the freedom within the structure for teamwork, for creativity, and for players to leave their impact on the game. So as coaches, we break the shot clock down into 3 spots. You know, this is not rocket science. 24 seconds to 17 is the early shot clock. 16 to 9 is the mid shot clock. Late shot clock is 8 seconds under. For us, what we're looking for with Poland is pace, quick hitter actions where a lot of times it's a coach's call or a point guard's call, and then freedom and structure to play. So again, you talk about offensive style. You know, like this system that we've been running is flexible and it's able to fit personnel. There's a lot of offense that you naturally are going to put in with the offensive structure you saw. A lot of different set plays. If a team wants to take one play away, we can attack that same situation in different ways, right? So, okay, if an opposing team takes 2 or 3 plays away from our team, we recognize that early. Their game plan, they're prepared for these. We are going to go to the secondary action to get the ball to, you know, Mateusz Panika in this situation. So the offense, it's able to help the players play well, but it's also able to fit the personnel. The team will naturally do certain things well from within the set plays, structure, and offense. We talk about early offense. Again, we try to get early offense, right? Attack early, right? And then have the system, the shot clock to play. Again, the play call to get what we want. We want to maximize our offensive possession. We want to get exactly the matchup we want, attack this player and pick and roll defensively, attack this player in the post, bring this player out onto the perimeter for a matchup. So as a coach, we're trying to use all of every advantage we can to attack the defense. And your offensive system must have the freedom and flexibility within its structure to get to that quickly. So you've got a play call, you've got early offense, quick hitter stuff, and time to play. Quick hitters, shot clock to play. We said before the old school A to B to C to D, 24-second structure that was really prevalent in terms of controlling the game, controlling coaches. We want to build in a framework for ball movement within our offense, a framework for teamwork, and help the players learn how to play. Again, something that coaches should consider is how will you react to possession? React to possession how? The other team scores, right? React to possession, quick inbound. React to possession, we get a steal, we get a defensive rebound, there's a defensive stop. Is it a live ball situation or a dead ball situation? Dead ball meaning inbound, right? Some coaches will, and again, we'll see it on the continuum, the pace continuum, live ball. We're just going to go as fast as we can. Or are you going to be more methodical? The slowest, walk it up. You know, dead ball situation, obviously inbound, set play, play call, easier to communicate. But I think these are philosophical questions each coach must answer. How will we react to possession? How will our players respond together when the other team scores or we get that defensive stop? This numbers, no numbers conversion chart, I would really recommend for younger players and coaches of youth teams. And it's the red light, yellow light, green light, traffic light theory. And again, as you take a look here, maybe, you know, take a screenshot of your computer. I'll leave it up for a while. But again, you talk about a green light is when you have an advantage. You're ready to attack with floor space. You want to have teamwork, make high percentage plays, and you're trying to coach your guys' shot selection. You're trying to get plays right at the rim, finish at the rim, get a layup, attack the rim, pressure the rim, or try to get that three. Yellow light situations, okay, it's even. It's a 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. You know, you want to have floor spacing. Again, the same thing, high percentage plays and get the shots that you want. And helping players make decisions, no numbers, the red light. We don't have numbers, right? It's 1-on-2 or 1-on-4, 2-on-4, 3-on-4. You want to value possession of the ball, reload and organize it. Again, we have here rocket for motion. Again, that's for our push progression and push things with the national team. But this really helps young players kind of understand and have that court awareness of, do we have numbers in transition? Now, when you work with professionals and work with high-level players, sometimes guys are so good in transition at getting to the rim that you'd say, okay, 1 versus 2 is really a green light situation. Go, attack the rim, pressure the rim, draw a foul. You know, sometimes you'll have a player like a Matheus Panica that is so talented getting to the rim in transition and pushing the ball. You let those guys go. You let them be aggressive, right? Many times victory favors the aggressive team. So here we have a situation where this is a structure to work, and I think it's really good for youth players. Red light, nope, we're going to organize it and value possession. Yellow light, it's even. Let's make a really good decision. Green light, we're looking to be aggressive and attack. Again, by the time players get to a senior national team, their decision-making is not like you're trying to break it down like this. They have a feeling for the game. They have a great IQ. So, again, I want to say let's target this for youth coaches and player and teams that may need it more, a little bit more. We talked earlier about the pace continuum. And this, again, you know, you talk about screenshot situation for coaches. This is philosophical. How do you want to play? You have slow on the one end, walk it up, play call, set play, right? If you're a really dominant half-court team and you've got a really big man, inside presence, old school 5-man. All right, we got the defensive stop. We're going to walk it up the court. We're going to get our big man into the post. We're going to keep the shooters and floor spacing around them, and we're going to play inside out, post reaction, half-court offense, right? People would maybe think that's old school basketball, right? On the other end, you have fast, and this is run and reload. As soon as we get the ball, we're up the court. There's not really a whole lot of structure. It's more just about attacking. And again, running, pressuring the rim, getting up the court as quickly as you can, and then the reload. The ball comes back to the point guard, and in this situation, he calls the set play. Attack, just get up the court as quickly as you can, look to score, don't have anything, get it back to the point guard. So you have slow at one end, fast. And then most teams, I think, are in between. Like a lot of teams that want to add more structure, and you could probably categorize us with Poland into the secondary break or break spot situations. We're mostly in there with all of our transitions. But the secondary break situation, you've got a traditional offensive action as you attack and transition. Players do get to their break spots, but there's a clear offensive action what you're trying to attack in transition. Break spots would be like our push progression where you're coming up, and this would be like rocket ball motion, deep corner fill, rim run, settle at the opposite dunker spot, opposite block, and then your trailer. And then after the break spots happen, you're into some motion, moving the ball, attacking, using the dribble, some of the coaching points that we'll talk about a little bit later. And then the last one, you see here, the fast break lanes. All right, this is your traditional 2-on-1, 3-on-2 lanes that you're trying to run with numbers and create advantages to get easy baskets. So as a coach, you know, you've got to make your decision and be really clear about this is how we want to attack, right? Not all teams are going to attack the same. Some teams will walk it up and play slow. Other teams, which is probably more prevalent now, are trying to play faster and play with pace. The thing you've got to think about with playing with pace is there's two parts to the brain. There's the side that does and the side that thinks. If you, again, as a coach, add more detail and add more coaching intellect into the game, then it's not just a reaction to go, and it will slow it down, right? And for me, I prefer, you know, with the Polish national team, we've preferred this spot in between the secondary break and break spot situations with our offense because of the IQ of the players, because of the talent level of the players. This is what has worked well for us. Teamwork. And again, for me, one of the things I'm most proud of has been the teamwork of our team over the years that I've been with the national team. And this is a complete credit to all the players, all the coaches, everybody really working hard together. We have had very, very few problems of individualism within the team. We've had guys that have really been committed and unselfish. We've had guys really make extra passes, set great screens, done whatever it takes to win. And I think that this has been one of the most important things from our team, the teamwork aspects that have really pushed us, to the success, especially over the last few years. You can see from the offensive structure that we have, it's all about teamwork. In the past, maybe, other teams, Poland included, were all about one player. We've got to get the ball to this player. We've got to get the ball to that player. It's all about one player. I think what the players during my era have really appreciated is it's a team game. It's a team attack, right? Now, within that team structure, obviously, there's a hierarchy. There's, hey, this guy is our go-to guy. This guy is our shooter. This guy is our playmaker. So the hierarchy fits. But at the same time, it's a team attack and it's a team game. And I think this teamwork, as I said, has been one of our main keys. Some of the things that we talk about to emphasize teamwork, 5 as 1. This means when we have a play call on the court, everyone is locked in, working together, right? Executing the set play call, executing the action, executing the offense together as one. It starts with communication. We communicate together. We know the play call. It goes into the details of your offense, right? 5 guys reading the play the same way. What's the low post coverage? What's the pick and roll coverage? What's the down screen or back screen coverage? How is the team reacting to us? We've got to read the game together. And then the unselfish thought to make your teammates better. And this, to me, has been one of the best parts about the Polish players over the years. These guys have really worked together and really tried to make their teammates better. These are 3 keys that we really try to emphasize as we, input our system, implement our system, right? 5 guys working as one, reading the game together, and making your teammates better. Ultimately, offensively, what is your goal? For us with Poland, it's teamwork for a good shot. We want to see our guys execute the offensive structure, system, and the concepts and the details that we're coaching, that we're emphasizing. But the whole point is attack the defense, create an advantage, build on the advantage, and use your teamwork to create a good shot. And you can argue, if you create a good shot every possession, your team has a really good chance to be successful, right? Means you're reading the defense well, you're executing well. It doesn't mean you're going to make every shot. But the teamwork for a good shot, to me, is a really critical point, that everyone's working together to try to create the shot. And again, it's not my shot, it's our shot. We are working together to create a good shot. And I think this is something the concept teamwork for a good shot really emphasizes. So now let me go back. Got to get this picture of AJ in here, one of my favorites. So we talk about organization. And again, when you go back to the beginning and you see the offensive structure, you see on paper, okay, here's these transition calls, here's these set play calls. We need to organize things. And as, I've found over the years, I think that where you are, there's a comfort level in a certain way things are done. And let's call a European play call system. Fist up, fist side, fist down. 3 up, 3 side, 3 down. 4, head pat, all of these things. For me, this is, I think, a play call system that Polish national team players, and I'm sure many European players, at least here in Germany as well, players are used to this play call system to call a play. So as we've come in with our, let's say, play call style, it's been different. And it's really got an American football base to it, right? And I don't know how much experience people in Europe have with American football, but a lot of times in American football, you have a formation call, you have a offensive line blocking call, and then you either have a running call or a passing call, which will have different letters and numbers. So it's a verbal terminology that's pieced together, and it sounds funny, right? Left zig 275, sprint right on 1. And everybody's like, what? that terminology for the football team, it's clear and they really know what it means. For our team, we have a formation, and we'll have a formation, again, 1 through 5, right? We also have a 70 series, 60 series, 90 series for different things. But you can just imagine, right? The formation, let's say it's 5, right? The formation 5, meaning maybe 5 out or whatever. 5, 2, so 52, and then blast, 52 blast, right? That would be a 5-out action. We want the 2-man to come in. The ball comes to the 5. We run a blast action. He's coming up to catch it, right? 2-guard front would be 2 for us. A diamond would be 4. So you have to think like this for the players. As the players are trying to remember all these plays, if they hear 43 chase, 43 chase, they know it's 4 diamond. They know it's for the 3-man, and the chase action, some actions how we're running on screens, right? So the traditional positions and the numbers for formation, again, it allows you to cover a lot of information, put a lot of different things in. What I try to do is limit it, okay? The 50 series is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 50 to 55, okay? So you try to limit it to keep it simple for guys. When I was an assistant with the RGV Vipers, Nick Nurse there as the head coach, our numbers were 3 deep. So we would have 375, 192. What that gave him was even another level to get into detail with set plays and actions and things like this. But we try to keep it simple with the 2 numbers. The next point is the terminology. You say 22 fist, 22 fist. So you've got your 2-guard front. It's for the 2-man in a fist action in a pick and roll, right? 45 punch, 45 punch. You got your diamond situation. We're going to the 5-man punch would be the post up. And then, hey, we're horns pop. Instead of a dive, the guy's popping out of the air. So this is the structure for the team offense that we've built around and we've tried to use to help the guys be able to learn it a little bit easier. The thing we talk about, being the best team, communication in the game, organizing your attack. It's really important to take every advantage to huddle. And this is not just pregame or timeouts. This is every opportunity on the court to huddle. Why? When you can huddle, you control the conversation and you can really focus on task, right? So here we have a picture from the Israel game. We're huddling with a coach, but it doesn't always, and it shouldn't always happen like that. You need your veteran players. We try to give that voice to the point guard. You need your point guard to be the one communicating, right? You're talking to your point guard all the time. You want him to carry this information into the huddle. But instead of just relying on guys being apart, be the best team. Get together, huddle every opportunity, and communicate so you can be on the same page. Again, when you talk about, really beating great teams, we'll talk about that a little later. We really beating great teams and on winning on a big stage, high level. You've got to out-team your opponent. You've got to do the team things better. And huddling and communicating your system is a really important part of that. We move on to floor spacing, okay? And again, floor spacing is important. That people talk about playing without the ball, and they think it's, hey, I'm going to cut to the basket, or I'm going to go set a screen, or I'm going to use a screen. But floor spacing and being in the right spot and knowing how to execute your set play 5 as 1, you may be on the weak side opposite the ball. You may not be involved in the pick and roll or the post up or the screen, but your floor spacing is critical to that play's success. So you've got to be unselfish and hold that spacing. So some of the coaching points we talk about with floor spacing. We want the floor spot terminology. We want guys to know those spots, and we want them to get there and be specific. We a lot of times talk about a deep corner fill. So in transition, break spots, guys getting to the deep corners. Hold that deep corner fill. We don't want you to creep up. It's natural. Players feel like they don't want to stand still. They feel like if I'm active, if I move, if I get closer to the ball, then the ball's going to find me. But we want specific actions, right? We want you, as the defense comes in, if your man is in that low man situation and you're in the deep corner and the action pulls him in, that's when we're coming up to improve the passing lane for our playmaker and to also create a more difficult, longer closeout. You've got to have that understanding and awareness hold spacing, and move with a specific purpose. Move as the ball moves. We're not creeping up. We're not moving unnecessarily. We're being unselfish. We're playing 5-as-1. We're holding our spacing so that we can really pressure the defense and create an advantage. So again, you talk about pop. Pop for us means play off penetration. So now we have a play, we run our sets, we have a play called for a pick and roll, we don't get anything, we exhaust it. What we like to do to help our players learn to play together is pop, play off penetration. So now you teach your players how to move, how to adjust, and how to become more difficult to guard. This is one of the most critical points to me in offensive play. How your players play together when your play call and action doesn't get anything. The defense stops it, or you don't have an advantage that you hope to create. What does your team do then? You've got to help them play off penetration and understand how to be hard to guard. So the pull over and lift is one of these playoff penetration situations. But let's move to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit more. Front court three-point shooting in terms of team building is critical. And we've been fortunate enough with Poland. Aaron Sell has done a fantastic job of this over the years, hitting important threes, hitting big shots. Damian Coolig, when he's been out there, the front court three-point shooting. We've had several guys that have done just a fantastic job stretching the defense and making our team hard to guard. So shooting at all 5 spots is a luxury. It's not something you have all the time. It's a benefit. And when you have it, you can use it to your advantage. But as you build teams, you've got to be considering the front court three-point shooting, because this will help your floor space. Again, we like to use formation. As we use formation, we want to try to change the floor space. Specific points here. And again, there's lots of different ways you can do this and be creative as a coach. But again, with your formation, lift the defense to open up baseline against pressure. So you go to your 2-guard front, or you go to a 1-4 high. Now the defense has to think twice about really getting out there and pressuring, because the baseline cut or backdoor cut or baseline drive is open. Next point, you can bring a non-mobile post defender out on the perimeter. So you change your formation from a 4-out, 1-in to a 5-out. You go to your 5-out plays. You've brought that big man who's a non-perimeter defender. He's comfortable in the low post. Now you're going to guard on the perimeter, and we're going to create advantages, little advantages, because you can't guard off the ball screens, for example. Post pop entry. So now the post situation, we have a horns, and now the 5-man is setting the screen. Traditionally, he's going to dive to the rim. But now as the 5-man steps out to show, the point guard has our 5-man popping to the top. Now we've created a lead, we've created advantage, and then when we get to the second side of the floor, the 5-man is now late. So we have a small advantage, but it's an advantage we can build on, right? Position players and movement to pressure, right? So we want to try to stretch out the low man. We talked about the importance of holding spacing, right? So if you hold spacing in that deep corner, now we're going to position our guys where he is the help guy on a pick and roll coverage as the low man, and it becomes a single side bump. We want to put him in a dilemma. Am I going to bump in and help on the dive, the rolling big man, and give up the open shot? Or am I going to stay home on my three-point shooter and give that opportunity at the rim in the paint, right? Good players, good point guards are reading this. When you execute it, you create an advantage for your team, right? Stretch out the low man in the side-to-side ball screen situations, like we call it flow action. Low man's on the baseline. Oh, he's got to help out on this side pick and roll. The ball's quickly swung to the second side. Now he's late coming out on that closeout. Maybe you force a switch. Maybe you create an advantage on that side. So by using your formation, you can pressure certain defenders in certain situations. Okay, again, some other points. Overload to create floor space. Spread the floor space. Spread the formation so they have to cover the entire floor. And again, when teams are pressuring you, lift higher and wider so the ball reversal becomes easier. If they come out to pressure you, now you can cut backdoor, or the driving lanes are a little bit bigger against the pressure. So as coaches, think about your formation and use your formation depending on how your opponents are playing you. Are they a pressure team? Are they shrink team, and then help your guys understand how to really work and attack. So we talked earlier about the pace. And again, with our team with Poland, this is for the Polish national team. What we like is 2 tempos. We talk about pace, how fast we run up the court in transition, and then ball movement. So as we get into transition, some of the key points we like to think about are our break spots. For us, the break spots, and this will be the one or two times that I really try to draw something up for you guys. We try to get a deep corner fill in each spot. Our point guard is going to push it up the alley, or this could be a push guard right here. Our 5-man is going to run to the rim and settle opposite block, opposite dunker spot. And our trailer will be in this spot. We call this the pro spot or the slot. So these are our basic break spots that we talk about. And from that, we've got most of our.
Sorry, Coach. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but probably we can't see your coach tape. So can you put it a little bit higher?
Yes, I will. Let me get this.
Something like that. Excellent. Because
so is this better for everybody?
Yeah, much better.
So we've got the 2 and the 3 deep corner fill. We've got the point guard pushing in the alley. We've got the trailer coming to the slot or the pro spot. And we've got the 5-man running to the rim, getting to the opposite dunker spot. This has been consistent with our team for, since I've been there in 2014. And from our, let's say, 11 transitions that we'll show you guys in a few minutes, from these situations, most of them are from this break spot, right? Again, you talk about, the pace, how quickly you get up the floor. It's important to really work on your quick inbounds, high outlet, have guards be ready to ball ahead to attack and transition, and be ready to get an early entry into your offense. Again, teams will try defensively to slow you down, and they'll try to keep you out of the scoring territory by stopping you high by the half court. If this is happening, this is really important that you can ball ahead or get into your offensive actions early so you have more shot clock to work with, right? This is one way defense will try to stop you, slow you down. The main point here is attack the retreating defense, foul line to foul line, and try to play with pace and structure so you can get good offensive shots. So as you see here, these are the base transitions that we work with. The push is a push progression, a lot of rocket ball influence there. You just saw the break spots for push. With the push action, for me, we've also evolved into entries. So you'll hear calls from us, push 1, push 5, push 2, push 4. So these are certain actions for certain plays out of those break spots. Flow is the side-to-side pick and roll game. Again, a lot of teams will run that. Drag and double drag, basic drag transitions. We like to do a lot of drags off the ball. This has been really good for Panika and AJ Slaughter over the years. Wedge, classic NBA wedge in transition. Slice, we have a series of slice, 1 through 5. We also put the Spurs actions in that for, basically because it's for us, very similar. Slice is one of the plays, one of the actions where the break spots are different. So just so you guys understand, for us, when we call slice, the 5-man will be on the ball side, right? We're ending like this in our break spots here. So again, we try to get the ball to the wing, all right? As that happening, we cut to the corner, we pull over, and here's the ball reversal on the backside. This is our basic slice action with the stagger double on this side. So this will be our slice series, and we'll have slice 1, slice 2, slice 3, slice 4, slice 5 out of all of those things. Spurs, on the other hand, the reason we pair it together is because it's like this. Again, you see your Spurs punch action. Say we hit the 2 on the wing. Instead of cutting to the corner, now your point guard's cutting to the nail. We reverse it through the 4, and this would be like the Spurs punch action, the Denver screen the screener on the backside. So again, we put the Spurs plays within the slice plays within our offense because that's one of the few situations where our 5-man is on the ball side. Reverse, again, the second side of the play action for us has been very good with an outside step up. Single and podwodny. This is interesting. Single is an action where we call the name of a player and we try to create a single side bump for him in transition. The players learn how to read the game and read the action depending on where he is on the floor. Podwodny is double. And I think the guys really like this. This is one of the times that I get a chance to try to speak some Polish. but it's one of these plays where we have some plays called double-double, double pin, double split. And the guys, I have a tendency as a coach to repeat play calls. So I would be calling in transition, double, double, double. And the guys were confused. Is coach calling double or is he calling double, double? So we eventually changed double to podvojny. And I think that's one of the, every time I would say it, the guys would laugh, like, coach, what are we running? Podvojny. And these, they had a fun time with that. 50, 5-out action. And then early is just an early post touch where guys running in transition, 5 or 4, he's posting up, ball goes into post, and then there's floor space and just post reaction. Again, giving more freedom and more creativity for the players to play. I think these situations really help when you're really being pressured defensively. So these are the 11 transitions that we work from. For us, again, it gives us great flexibility to get what we want early, create a post-up, create a screening situation, create a pick-and-roll situation, create an isolation situation, get to it quickly, and give the players time to play. So for us, this is, I mean, a lot of teams may even consider this, hey, that's like our offense. But for us, it's the transition because for me, it's based on the conversion, live ball, dead ball, how we react to possession. We are a, let's say a secondary break or break spot team. And this is, the basic structure that we work from. Ball movement, again, you see here a great extra pass from a young Łukasz Koszarek, making a great ball reversal play here. Coaches really want to see great teamwork and they want to have ball movement in their offense. The most important thing for a coach, though, you can yell at players and push players, hey, let's get some good ball movement. But what does that mean? You've got to give your team structure and understanding how to move the ball. You've got to give them, build that ball movement possibilities into your offense. So let's take a look here. Some of the key concepts that we talk about. Spurs, 0.5. Again, great coaching. Greg Popovich, the Spurs with beautiful ball movement over the last years. Again, one of their main concepts is quick decisions, quick ball movement. They came up with the concept of 0.5. Again, we've tried to adapt it. We've looked at it. We want to have quick ball movement, really play off the catch, move the ball, attack, and create good pace and tempo in the half court. Consecutive passes. You'll see at the end when we go through our performance chart, we chart consecutive passes. A consecutive pass is really healthy for breaking down the defense, creating rotations, and good offense. As your teammate breaks down the defense, draws the defense, creates a rotation, the ball comes out to you. As they close out, boom, that consecutive pass to your teammate and then ready to attack is really good offense and really hard to guard. So the 0.5 and consecutive passes, really important concepts that we try to stress with our guys. Ball reversal. Again, we got the ball on one side. We're trying to swing it to the other side, make the defense move, attack the defense, make them work, try to create opportunities. And again, a lot of times this comes into the terminology of first side of the play, second side of the play, third side of the play, building in ball reversal. So we've used these teams as ball movement models for our team. The 1980s Celtics, and this is at our training camps in Waldzisch, I would always show these guys the beautiful game from the Celtics. And this was Larry Bird and, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, all these guys. And there's like a 5-minute video where they're showing fantastic passes, even back in the 80s, the way they played together. And, of course, there's the Larry Bird pass where he throws it between the guy's legs and the guys laugh, and it's funny. But, again, it's the concept of teamwork, of ball movement, and having it built into your offense kind of sets the tone. Obviously, my experience working with Doc Rivers and Brad Stevens around the Celtics, that's a heavy influence on me. And we see a lot of their things that we've studied them for the last few years, Celtics ball movement. A couple years ago, they had fantastic teamwork. This was the year before Kyrie. Fantastic teamwork and ball movement. We really like to watch them. Obviously, the Popovich Spurs, we've seen video from them. The beautiful game, again, it's on YouTube. Everybody can see it. We've spent time in meeting rooms looking at this. And again, the Steve Kerr Warriors. What people don't give the Warriors credit is their style of play with both Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, the movement and play without the ball, the ball movement opportunities that are built into that offense with a big man that can be a point forward, Draymond Green, that can be a decision maker and a playmaker, and the screening and the actions just to get these guys open shots. Fantastic. So we've used these three teams as kind of ball movement examples for us. We studied them a lot, and we've tried to take some of these concepts and integrate them into what we've done with Poland and our offense. We talk about using the dribble, and now we're going to get into, some points here that I think are also important for coaches to help. When you have an advantage, you want to create and build on the advantage. So the first thing we talk about is play off the catch. The second thing we talk about is direct line drives to pressure the rim. And then we talk about attacking closeouts. So again, when you have a 0.5 concept, the ball comes to you, we're not going to hold it. The ball's not going to be held. For example, we have a horn set, and the 5-man sets a screen and pops to the top, and we enter the ball. So for example, I'll try to draw this again where you guys can see it, right? 5-man sets this screen right here, and he's popping to the top. So we've got a horns pop entry. Again, this 5-man is here. If we catch and hold the ball, this advantage that we've created, he makes it up and recovers. So the 0.5 situation, we run horns pop, he pops to the top, here's your advantage, it's created, you have the lead. Now, immediately, we look to the second side swing, and we try to build on that advantage. So again, playing off the catch, helping players understand when you have a lead, when you have an advantage, you want to build on it, not hold the ball. Direct line drives to pressure the rim. Again, a lot of coaches will talk about play north-south, go to the basket. Players may have bad habits of going to the left, to the right, playing east-west. Big thing for teams, the way you create rotations is penetrating and pressuring the rim and attacking the basket. This is critical for your offense to create these advantages. And then again, attacking closeouts, working with players to read closeouts, maybe whatever your concepts are, attacking the top foot, these type situations, very, very important details to work on with your guys. So we see here, picture, play off the catch, make a quick decision, look to attack, direct line drive to the rim. Again, pressure the rim, drive until they stop you, and then attack the closeout, right? So we have a great picture here of Łukasz Koszarek beating somebody off the dribble. Again, the main point for your team is to pressure the rim. As you get to the rim and pressure the rim, you have a high percentage shot to finish, or you're going to create rotations and have the ability to kick the pass out for another high percentage three-point look. So as we talked before, play off penetration. This is really a critical offensive coaching point, and I think one that's often overlooked. This is how we communicate playing together with our guys. So we have playing off penetration. The things that we emphasize on the perimeter. We talk about a drift cut. We talk about a Euro cut. Drift would be one step, read step, cut away. Euro cut, one step, read step, cut in behind the ball handler. Corner drift, we're at the 45. We're drifting to the corner as the opposite baseline is driven. Corner follow, again, fundamental concepts. I'm sure most coaches are familiar. You run your corner drift, but this time there's no shot. Now we're attacking to the middle. Instead of balancing the floor, the baseline cutter cuts through. We throw it back to him, corner follow option. In the post, there's specific situations. Ball side drive. If I'm posting up, I step to the open area with a step out or an eye cut. If I'm in the dunker spot, I can step to the open area. I can step to the rim, again, playing above the rim, or step out to the corner for a three-point shooting, big man in the dunker spot. A lot of times in the dunker spot, we talk about pivoting to power, using your body, again, just coaching points for the dunker spot play. Block-to-block pop for us would be block-to-block playoff penetration. This means I'm posting up on one block, my post partner, old school, he's on the other block, and as I would work to the middle, he's going under the rim. As I work under the rim, he's stepping to the middle of the lane. And again, on the perimeter on the backside, if we go baseline, you're getting to the corner drift. If we're going middle, you're stepping to the 45. So these are fundamental concepts. The whole point here is to relocate, move as the ball moves, Improve your passing angles. That means better ball movement opportunities. And I think these are little details that make your offense function a little bit better, a little bit smoother. One of the ways we work on this with our team, 5-on-0 pop, 5-on-0 playoff penetration, right? So you have a 5-10 minutes in practice. Coach calls a play. He says, hey, 3 up, 3 up. You run your 3-up action. The players run it with tempo, with pace, run it game-like, but they exhaust all the options. And then what do? The players play together. They penetrate, they pitch, consecutive pass, move without the ball, these whole things, playoff penetration. Again, the more they do it, the better they get. And when they do it in practice, they can start to see where those opportunities are going to happen in a game, right? So it becomes game-like specific practice. We have a play call. We don't create the advantage we want. Now we're working together to get a good shot. Paint touches, again, really important as you start talking about breaking down the defense and creating rotations. Paint touches in terms of a drive, a post-up, a basket cut, or an offensive rebound. And again, we want to pressure the defense, break down the defense, create rotations. One thing when you have talented individual players, and A.J. Slaughter can get his own shot, can create his own shot, but he also makes the game easier for other people because he penetrates and can create that advantage, cause the rotation, and make the extra play. Mateus Panica, attacking the basket, driving strong, able to read the defense and deliver to a spotting up shooter, to a teammate. Again, you need the individual talent, but you've got to help the guys understand how to use that talent together. This is the playoff penetration, but you really must emphasize the post touches offensively, the paint touches offensively, so that your offense can keep pressuring the defense to create rotations. Again, old school play inside out, put the ball in the post, but it's not just about putting the ball in the post, it's about these paint touch situations. So now we'll shift gears a little bit and talk about playing against pressure. And I think this is one of the things, a couple key points here that helped us in some of our games. The Russia game in the World Cup was extremely physical. It was a really hard game for our guys, and they played so well to overcome some of these physical challenges. Some of the things that we talk about with our team to play against pressure, you'll hear us say a lot to them. Play under control. Play at your speed. Do not allow pressure to speed you up. Again, really good defenders can speed you up. They're trying to get you to do things, play faster than you're able to play and comfortable playing, and that's in their mind when mistakes happen. So our point is, as teams pressure us, we want to play at our speed. We want to be skilled enough to handle the ball and play against that ball pressure and play in a place where we're under control and executing. So it's important not to let defenses speed you up, to play under control and at your speed. When teams pressure you, you've got to be more precise. The timing of your screening, setting and using screens. All right, we're not standing straight up. We're playing low with leverage. We talk about nose to chest defensively, but the same thing offensively. As teams pressure you, you've got to be more precise together. Set up and make those strong cuts through the contact. Teams are bumping you. Teams are hitting you. You've got to make those strong cuts through there. Simple, strong plays with the ball. A guy's pressuring you. You're not going to try to get out there and be all nice with the ball, behind the back, doing all these fancy plays. No, you got to keep it simple, and you got to be strong and simply get to where you need to go with the ball. One way to relieve the pressure is set solid physical screens. Again, when you're a coach, you're watching these guys. They got hands all over the shooter. They got hands all over Machinsky. They're really making it hard for him to get open. He needs teammates to help him set those physical screens. It's the same with every great shooter. And then coaching-wise, screen the sagging defense in, teams shrinking the floor. Pin them in, teams out pressuring, get out there, back screen them, right? So use their pressure tactics against them. Again, we talked before, spread the floor with offensive width and depth in the floor spacing against pressure. We talked about it spacing. Pop, playoff penetration, and post reaction to present targets to your teammates against pressure. When you're playing against pressure, it's a challenge just to see the floor and just to handle the ball, right? With good playoff penetration, with good pop action, with good post reaction, now you've improved the passing angle. Your teammates can see you, and that acts as an easier pressure. So have that awareness when your team and your teammates are facing those pressure situations. coaches calling plays, teams are pressuring, get to the second side of the play, the third side of the play. We talk about backdoor cuts. That's fundamental against pressure. And then playing strong through physical contact to get fouls and get to the foul line. A lot of times if referees see 5 guys defending with energy and front, they're like, oh, that's good defense, right? They're not going to give you a call in that situation if you're fading away from the basket. You've got to play strong against that pressure, play strong through that contact, and go to the rim and play strong. Then you will be rewarded with foul calls, right? Don't expect a referee to give you a call if there's guys pressuring you and you're playing soft, right? You're not earning the call. So this is the point here, playing strong through physical contact to get to the foul line. We saw in the beginning our offensive structure, but what was not included in that base offensive structure were pressure releases in your offense. And every offense needs automatic pressure releases. We call pressure releases. We assign them names so that we can call them like a set play. Our set plays could be push 2 reject, right? And then we're running our push 2 action, but we're calling specifically the reject action because of how we anticipate coverage. So we have go, which would be classic backdoor cut, flash, which would be a post pressure release within the offense, or reject, again, rejecting a screening action, rejecting a pick and roll where we're taking the ball the other way. So we've got these pressure releases, for example, built into the offense, and there's got to be times where you're just working on pressure releases. It's got to be automatic. Players can't think about this stuff. They're running a certain play, they read a certain defense together, and you know your offense is clicking when they read it, boom, here's your pressure reaction flash. We get to the second side of the play easily and create an advantage. If the defense is going to pressure you on one side of the floor, they can't take everything away. You've got to have pressure releases in your offense so that, okay, you take this away, boom, we're hurting you from the other side. So coaches, as you look at your offensive system design, make sure you incorporate these pressure releases. These pressure releases against really good defensive teams and pressure defensive teams, these things will help your offense flow smoothly. They'll help your players solve the puzzle of the defensive pressure together. So pressure releases are critical. Now we talk pick and roll. And again, we could do a complete breakdown, a complete clinic on pick and roll play in terms of our philosophy. And there's many fantastic coaching clinics and ideas about pick and roll play. We're going to try to keep this as basic and simple as possible for everybody and just quickly talk about these points. Our pick and roll situations are designed to attack specific pick and roll coverages. So we've got those defined as a hard show defense, a flat show defense, an ice coverage. Some people say blue or down or side. We call it ice, where you keep the ball on one side. Pin and under, trap, and switch. And this is basically what you're going to see in a game. For us, what we tried to do is create a situation that's consistent for our team. Reading the game, 5 is 1. Some of the types of pick and rolls that we run, middle pick and roll, side pick and roll, corner pick and roll, flat pick and roll, step up, pick and pop, short roll action, ghost, in our terminology is 0, slip, twist, drag, 2 picks, see, and get. For us, again, this terminology is really, we try to help the guys quickly understand, how to read the situation, how they react. And our guys have really picked this stuff up extremely quickly. It's not rocket science. Many coaches probably have similar concepts with different types of terminology. But again, it's the quality of our players and their IQ and feeling for the game that they can really execute these situations together. The main point, our system will give us quick access to the players we want, in the positions we want, in the situations we want. We try to attack this defense here. We try to do it in this way, and then we give the players opportunity to play together to create a good shot. So again, think about having a variety of screens in your offense, a variety of pick and rolls, and giving these guys clear ideas of how they want to attack different coverages. Some of the situations that we try to use pick and roll to create, we try to create single side bumps. Again, we talked about that before, where you're pressuring the defender. I'm the low man, I'm the help guy, the pick and roll's happening, the diver's here, Do I pull in and help? Well, my man is lifting on this side. I got to make a choice. I'm stepping in to help. Oh, Vichinsky's open for 3 over here. Oh, I'm not going to let Vichinsky stay up here. Well, here's your 5-man, dive into the rim. So we want to pressure the defense and create these single side bump plays. Throw back to attack, a closeout. Again, you run the pick and roll direction this way. The defense is pulled in to help. Throw it back. Now you've created a long closeout. This is a great opportunity to beat people off the dribble. Michal Sokolowski has been fantastic over the years in this case, in this situation. Size on size pick and roll to create mismatch. Again, when you've got to try to find ways to create advantages for your team. And I think that there's times where when your team is really being pressured defensively and they're disrupting your system, it's good to have the option in your offense. I'm just going to play the matchup game. We're going to set guard on guard screens. We're going to attack in our opinion, their worst perimeter defender. We're going to get floor space, and we're going to go at these guys. So I think this is, again, a really important part of a team offense, a system that maybe many times is overlooked. So again, you want to try to create as many advantages as you can with the pick and roll. And it's not just your traditional pick, diver, pick, short roll, pick and pop. You want to try to create these opportunities for your team. Again, 5-as-1 teamwork attacking the defense. Talk about the post game. And again, like we say with pick and roll, we could create a whole clinic on these things with our coaching points. There's many, many great clinics out there with details that you guys can look at. We're just going to kind of give you a quick look into some of the points that we've talked about here. Because we're talking about team offense, obviously we're talking about the post up and the post reaction, your offensive situation, your offensive reaction when the ball goes into post. We emphasize opposite corner fill for floor spacing. So when the ball goes into the post, we want to have one of our players holding spacing in the opposite corner. Our national team post reactions, a wheel action, a ball side split, an uphill dribble handoff, a jazz snap back post up where we make a basket cut and snap back and try to play bully ball, a ball side flare situation, and a 45 dive. So these are the main actions that we try to teach our guys, and we try to show these guys what actions we prefer in what situations. So the point is, you can try to attack your opponent in pick and roll. You can try to attack your opponent by setting screens and having some type of motion game. For us, you've also got to be able to play through the post. This doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a great low post player. When you establish the post, you put the ball in scoring territory. You've got the ball deep and you're pressuring the opponent, right? Maybe they're not going to double team you, but you can create opportunities and actions for your for your teams and their teammates that are hard to guard through the post reaction. And again, just like with 5-on-0 pop play off penetration, 5-on-0 post touch, post reaction is a situation that we work on a lot. 5 minutes for 5-on-0 playoff penetration, 5 minutes for the post touch, post reaction. You call your post touch plays and they go through 5-on-0, the post reaction. Again, the ball goes in the post. We don't have the easy basket. We don't have the angle to score. Now, how do we play together? How do we attack the defense together? This is where your post reaction comes in. Again, if you're preparing game planning, we'll get into later, you're looking at your opponent. Are they doubling the post? Are they live cutter doubling the post? What are they doing? Do we need to adjust how we play with our post touch, post reaction, and floor spacing, right? So this is where it takes the next step. Again, one of the things that we did, I think, very well over the years is post our guards. And we just talked about the snap back post up. Again, it's a little bit of a bully ball situation where you have a guard that has really good post games. And we've been fortunate enough. Adam Vichinsky he's shown great ability to score in the low post, right? Michal Sokolowski, great ability to score in the low post. You can post Mateusz Panika. You can post different players. The point with guards, many times teams are not really ready to defend these guards in the low post, and they'll double right away. So you've created a big advantage for your team. And a lot of times these guards are skilled enough to pass the ball out of the post. So for us, maybe we've had times where we didn't have, let's say, the most prolific offensive post players. These are times where we've tried to really post our guards. And I think Adam, I think Soko, I think Mateusz Panika have done a great job through these. Let me not forget Karol Gruszewski as well, because he's also been able to establish the post from a perimeter spot as well. So posting guards is another part of your offense that I would really encourage and really recommend if you have that ability with your personnel. Last week, I did a clinic for the Romanian Federation about screening game. So we went into real detail there. That was really enjoyable. I enjoyed it. But just a couple quick points here. Details in screening, the variety of screens. I had Larry Brown's brother come visit me in Ulm, Germany back in the day, Herb Brown. Spent a week and we were talking basketball. And I asked him, hey, what do you think of our system? What do you think of our team? He's like, Mike, you don't have enough variety of screens. You've got too many down screens. You've got to have more variety of screens. This has always been a point that I've taken and really tried to, make sure the system that we're running has enough variety of screens, down screens, back screens, flare screens, cross screen, every type of screen possible within the offensive structure. Screening is a physical opportunity to be a physical team. And I think opponents will say, hey, one thing about that Polish national team, those guys are physical. And again, this is natural for a guy like Krycania, beast. It's natural for Sokolowski. It's natural for Panika. The physicality factor from our team over the years has been outstanding. Screening is a key part of that. And then unselfishness. People talk about making the extra pass, but the unselfishness of setting a screen for your teammate. I am giving up my body so my teammate can have an advantage and try to score. I mean, this is fantastic teamwork and fantastic demonstration of a commitment to the team, right? When we talk about screening, we also talk about two targets. So this is reading the game together, playing together. My teammate is curling to the basket. Am I stretching it out? Am I stepping to the dunker spot? But we want to put the defense in a difficult situation. We want to create two targets offensively. And a lot of times the great ball movement in these situations happens when it comes to the big man. Can the big man make the next pass? Can he catch the ball? Okay, here comes the curl. We step to the stretch situation. He pops out. The ball comes out. Big man's got it. What happens then? Does he catch and freeze and hold the ball? Or is it the 0.5 situation? I'm skilled enough to read the game, make a decision, move it, and play. And we've been fortunate in Poland to have bigs that could really get to that next pass and get to that next play. Again, the great teamwork happens when you've got guys committed to create an advantage and then play together to build on that advantage. Next, we have how coaches can use screening. We talk about if your team is struggling to beat the defense using the dribble. Let's say you've got a great defensive team. They're trying to speed you up. They're trying to pressure you. You're not creating advantages off the dribble. Not that your players are slow. Maybe they're struggling skill-wise, but you're not creating enough rotations. You can try to go to some screening plays to give you some advantages. Again, we talked about the physicality. Screening adds the physicality to the game. We talked about it before. Screening pressure out, back screens, screening that shrink, that sag in, right? Use the defensive scheme against them. Occupying the defense, make them guard you, right? We want to have an isolation on this side. We want to occupy the defense with screening over here. And how can a coach help players? When, as we said, you've got a great shooter like a Vachinsky on your team. Defenses are holding him, not letting him get free, really physical, making him work. Use screening to help him get open. Same thing. Opponents are pressuring Łukasz Koszarek or AJ Slaughter or one of your point guards. They've got hands all over him. They're pressuring him. Hey, hands off the ball handler. Hands off the ball handler. But it's more than hands off the ball handler. Set those backcourt screens or set those screens in the half court. A guy gets hammered one time, we'll see if that pressure persists. We talk about isolations, and again, we're a team-based offensive system. We try to have team basketball and teamwork for good shots, but there is a place to attack mismatches. There is a place to have isolations. There is a place where that individual talent must be front and center. Obviously, we've seen over the years in AJ Slaughter what type of individual plays he's been able to make. Mateusz Panika, these guys. You've got to have spots in your offense, whether it's a big part of it or a smaller part of it, you've got to have access to isolation situations. So we look at isolation set plays from within the offense, attacking matchups, motion into floor space, and again, size on size, pick and roll. And again, this is high-level situation when you've got really good players that can do it individually, but you've also, again, this is a piece to your offensive system where you emphasize teamwork, you emphasize team. There can be times where your your opponents are defending you, disrupting you, taking you out of what you want to do offensively. You're not creating advantages. Sometimes then the best thing to do, we're not going to attack them as a team. We're going to attack them one-on-one. We're going to attack this specific defender, and we're going to go at this guy, you know, and okay, now it changes. Now you've scouted our team. You've taken 3, 4, 5 plays. You've disrupted our offense as a team. But now we're going at this one individual player. He can't guard our guy. And now what are you going to do? You're going to react. You're going to double. You're going to, you know, we're going to get our rotation. We're going to get our advantages and create our rotation somehow. Okay. So the size on size pick and roll, the motions into the floor space with a matchup. Again, attacking the mismatches, isolation situations, a really, really important and often overlooked part of an offensive system. Shot selection. Again, every team needs to go through what is a good shot for us. Understanding how to play together, how to read the game together. All of this ends with what type of shot are we creating? What does this mean for us, for our team? It's not my shot. I'm going to create my shot. I'm thinking about me. No, we want guys to think about about our shot. We're creating this shot together. Let's define what good shots are for us. This is what we've done with Poland. Again, the shot selection spectrum. You know, in the NBA, you hear a lot about rim, paint 2, corner 3, or 3. For us, we like to have pressure the rim, plays at the rim, get to the free throw line, high percentage finishes, plays in the paint. And then because it's international, we talk about 3-point shots and mid-range 2s and non-paint 2s. So this is a traditional shot selection spectrum that we've adapted for the European game. What we like to do is generate rhythm 3-point shots. We talk about the concept of good to great. I have a good shot, but it may be early in the shot clock. Can we get a better one? And just like the 0.5 from the Spurs, the good to great from the Spurs has been something that we've tried to emphasize with our players. Again, the teamwork for a good shot. I have a good shot, but maybe my teammate has a better one if I can move it. One thing we try to have people avoid would be the early shot clock contested threes, right? People say, oh, I don't want my players to hesitate and think about shooting a 3. But I think you have to have time score situation in mind. You know, we're not rocket ball where we're just going to just fire up 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. You can play that, you know, 3 for 2 game if you want. But the main point for me is good shots, avoiding that early shot clock, good to great situation, maximizing your team's possession, resulting in teamwork for a good shot. Again, you know, you talk about efficiency. We're going to talk about some of the points that we emphasize with our guys about keeping your offense efficient. High percentage decisions. And again, I want to point out this is a credit to all of the Polish players, all of our guys, having a feel for the game, having an IQ for the game. They have developed over years, playing for different coaches in Poland, playing for different clubs. We have, you know, I'm fortunate to work with our guys who are able to make such good decisions on the court. Again, as a coach, you can have a great system, but it comes down to the players buying into that system and making decisions play by play, situation by situation on the floor. And our guys, to their credit and respect them so much for it, they have done such a fantastic job over the years of really making good decisions out there on the court. We talked before about doing everything strong, understanding to compete at the highest level. You cannot do anything soft. You can't do anything sloppy. You can't do anything at half speed. Everything we have to do is strong. Everything we have to do is be focused and concentrated and to the best of our abilities. And again, this is something that we try to emphasize all the time with the guys. And after a while, it just becomes second nature with really focusing on doing everything strong. Finishing at the rim, as we will see later, our performance chart at the end here. You know, this is one thing that we'll chart all the time. And there's some times where games where we'll be really efficient finishing at the rim, and most of the time you're going to have great efficiency numbers in those points. But the games where we have been 50% finishing at the rim, we have not been a very efficient offense. So it's important that you give your team time to practice, and really consistently emphasize, finish your plays strong, finish your plays at the rim. Again, making free throws critical, really a quiet influence on the efficiency of your team. We've been fortunate enough through the years to have very good free throw shooters. Adam Baczynski led China, the World Cup, in free throw shooting. Obviously, made a great impact in this way. But this is an excellent way, do a good job getting to the free throw line and be efficient and consistent from the free throw line. This is helpful to your team's efficiency. This is how you can help yourself win games on a big stage. Offensive rebounding, again, this has been a topic of a lot of different coaching clinics that I've seen recently. I've seen some really good ones. But again, generating those extra possessions offensively, offensive rebounding, really can be important for your team. So again, you have to have some type of concept. And this is what we've done with our team. We talk about, when you're a big man in the dunker spot, you can attack from the baseline and try to push the defender up. You can try to circle under the rim and get it in better position to him, short him. Body under the rim, so just try to wedge him under the rim, body under him. So these situations. Mid lane, if you're mid lane, here's some different moves that we talk about with the guys. Shed the box, just kind of get the box off you. Swim move, the old football defensive move where you're pushing the guy this way and swimming over the top. Swim and lock, box out the offense, taking the inside position. Hit and jump, the stun and spring. Again, rebound versus rotation. Get in position for unguarded putback, so you're sealing as they're rotating. Battle and back tap it out. So this, again, like Villanova, they'll run from the free throw line in college, trying to tip the ball back out for the extra possession. On the perimeter, again, we emphasize a crash get back. You've got to do one of the two, either crash to the rim or get back in transition. Roll to the rebound, beat the veer back. Again, that can be, for bigs, really important. Just to kind of bully a little guard that's there. And then I think that the transition run to the rim and the transition follows. So we're running to the rim, in transition, but also as the guard would go to the basket, we're hustling to follow him in the play and really try to score. Offensive from the free throw line, we talk about X, and free throw X, we're just the bottom man with one defender on his side is setting a cross screen for the guy with two blockout players. Bully, we're just trying to push these guys, body them under the rim, and then flood, late game free throw situation, trying to get it overload and get a late clock or offensive rebound. And again, the individual finishing skills, you talk about once you grab an offensive rebound, quick second jump, tip in, wide base, pivot to power, these type things. Little skills that we try to work on with our guys in different drills, to try to at least focus on being ready for offensive rebounding situations. I think player development is critical. We tried to make it, a priority with the national team. What we love with the training camps that we've had through the years, many times the morning sessions are a split work or a skill work situation where Dominic Naroychuk, who has been fantastic, every single day that I've been with the national team, this guy has never had a bad day. He's been fantastic in terms of strength and conditioning. He sets a great tone. He's really good. The guys really trust him. And I believe in him so much. I think that when players come to the national team, it's got to be for more than basketball. They need to feel like they're getting better. They need to feel like they're surrounded by people that can help them improve. Dominator, our coaching staff over the years, they've done a great job caring about the players and trying to help them develop. It's a commitment for guys to come to the national team. It's a commitment for them to be away from their families and use their rest time okay, it is a wonderful honor to play for your country, but when you're going through it, it can be tiresome and grueling. And you want the players to enjoy the process. You want them to feel like they're getting something out of it. And when we create a situation for player development, you build a great relationship with the guys. So I think that where this fits into your offensive system, you can try to help players improve in certain areas so that they can execute your offensive game better. And this is one of the things that I've improved, seeing guys develop through the years, make the next steps in their career, and sharing that whole experience with them. So the player development aspect is really an important part for us and for the national team. The next part we talk about is practice. And again, I'm a coach that loves practice. I love to be in the gym with the guys. I love to organize it. I want players to have fun coming to the gym. Again, the coaching style, fun with discipline, for me is what it's about. But I love the practice setting. And we're just going to touch briefly on, how you build up your offensive system in practice. This is the whole point of the practice topic we'll talk about. So we see here a dressed, taped, and ready practice plan from the World Cup. Again, credit to our coaching staff this past year and the years before. These guys have been really great to work with, and they've done such a great job, for our team. And they've all had a really big part in our team's success. So, basically when we've been in practice, this is basically July 30th. We start with a walkthrough, and we like to set the tone with a defensive walkthrough. So in this case, we were defending swing, slice, fist up. We were working on full rotations. We were defending stagger, double, horns, flex, elevator, zipper. We were defending as many of these situations that we could get through in 30 minutes. After those 30-minute walkthrough, dominator time is Dominic Neroichuk, and he has always done this fantastic job, getting the players physically prepared, mentally prepared. He's done a great job through those dominator times. From the dominator time conditioning and warm up, we go into two teams, and this is where the assistant coaches really step up. So here today, as we saw, we have 5-on-0 pop, playoff penetration. So in the past, for example, maybe Wojciech Kaminski would take that. Maybe Krzysztof Szablowski would take the 5-on-0 post reaction. Most recently we had Artur Gronik working with one of the groups, and Arkadiusz Miłaszewski and Marcin Wozniak working with the other group. So the coaches really worked hard in these situations. And it's basically you're with the red team for 5 minutes, and then the red team switches and goes to the other end. White team switches, goes to the other end. So 5 minutes, 5-on-0 playoff penetration, 5 minutes, 5-on-0 post reaction with the coaches calling plays. Come together, 5-on-5, no dribble. Again, building practice up, trying to get the guys warmed up. Pass and catch, cutting, teamwork, reading the game together. 5-man weave and change and transition. So there's two teams on the baseline. The first team goes through a 5-man weave on the whistle or the word change. They have a transition called, and they execute one of our transitions. So let's say a team goes down, 5-on-0. They hear the whistle. They get the ball to the point guard, and it's slice one. So they run slice one. Next team comes up. They go down, 5-man weave, come back. And then after a while, the first team will go down, and then the second team steps out on defense, and then they'll play. So you've got 5-man weave plus a change. You're executing your transitions. 11-man break is kind of a staple for us, a continuous 3-on-2. We get into our defensive work, and then as we have a water break, we try to never have practice stop. We try to keep it going. So for 3 minutes, perimeter guys get a drink. Post guys are with one of the coaches doing back to the basket moves. After 3 minutes, it switches. Perimeter guys come out, post feeds and splits, and the bigs are getting a drink. Then we get into 5-on-5 set, side, end, plus a conversion, and you can convert one conversion or you can convert to a score. And these were the plays from our offensive system, the set plays that you saw before. These were the things we were working with for that at that time for the World Cup. So again, you're creating these different situations. 5-on-5 half-court play call, execute, convert. If they score, the other team has the ball at the top. You can have start at the sideline, start at the end line. Just be as creative as you need to be. And then get into a 3-minute game, giving the team a chance to finish practice with playing a little bit, individual time, and we finish with our win the game free throws and whatever Dominator wanted to do with the guys after practice. So this would be a regular practice for us, and how we would try to incorporate learning our system, learning our structure into practice. The one thing that a system like we have does is create players being on task. They're really committed to know what they're doing, to learn what they're doing, and over the years, our guys have done a fantastic job with that. Again, some of the drill work to help build offense, we talk about 5-on-0 break, the 5-man weave plus the conversion. We just talked about that. 5-on-5 off the glass, all transition calls. One team's at one end, the other team's at half court. Coach throws it off the glass, calls the play. They convert down, just one conversion, that transition. Play stops, make or miss, whatever happens. Then the other team throw it off the glass. They're converting back at them. So it's a real controlled conversion of your offense. Tennessee transition is something I've done for a long time. We haven't done it much with Poland, but it's a 5-on-0 in the half court. The other team is at the other end with, ready to run a play. They have another basketball. 5-on-0, these guys get back on D, 5-on-5 half court, and convert. So it's 5-on-0, 5-on-5 half court, 5-on-5 full court. Again, great way to learn plays because of the 5-on-0 reps. You can say, team that's doing the 5-on-0 reps, convert back with the same play coming back. So you get 2 reps of the same play on one action. Set play plus conversion, you just saw that drill there. 5-on-5, great to focus in on set plays where you have 3 teams of 5 out there. Focus in on different types of sets. 55-50 we usually do with our game prep, defending an opponent, making sure we understand the defensive game plan. But you can do it for your offense as well. And this also can be really good. Again, what it is 5-on-5 in the half court, and then the defensive team will convert down 5-on-0. And if you're going to work on the offense, when they're coming back into the half court again, you bring them quickly to the middle, make a play call, then they go execute. Then the other team goes down and comes back. So 55-50 is also, even though it's a primary defensive preparation drill, you can flip it and make it effective offensively. 3-minute, 5-minute games, and then we talked about 5-on-0 pop. 5-on-0 set play game I really like, especially at the end of the week of training camp, you're trying to put your system in. Before you play your first scrimmage, to make sure everybody understands and knows their play. 2 teams running 5-on-0 set plays, coach in the middle calls the play, and a coach for either team is grading it. If the team executes correctly, they can score points. Then the team, whatever they do they shoot a 2? Do they shoot a 3? It's make or miss. So if you execute correctly, you can score. If you make a 3, then it's +3 for your team. So you go through a list of plays. One team competes with the other team, and rather than just running regular 5-on-0, now you've made it competitive into a 5-on-0 set play game. That's a Brad Stevens drill. Now the next thing we want to share with you guys from the 2019 World Cup was the installation of our training camp and how we put plays in. So you can see we have the arrival on the July 29th. You've got a lot of morning split work, and here we have July 29th is the first 2 blocks, right? The morning, we have 1 practice here. We got 2 practices. So the main point we have here, you see the first day, we're getting right into some defensive stuff, stance, shrink, catch and shoot defense, but we're also putting in the push progression, push 5, push 2 reject, drag, get, wedge, fist up, fist side, C. So we have specific targets that we try to put in every single day. And, if you've been at training camp with us in Valbzish, in my dorm room, I have up on the wall a list of different things, and one of them is this installation plan. As we have this installation plan, you really focus in, okay, we're putting this stuff in every single day. You make your adjustments practice plan-wise, day to day, but you're really organized, you're detailed, and you're piece by piece, day by day, building up your system with tremendous detail, right? So you've got to be organized to be able to put it all in. And this is how that organization happens. You're wasting no time. Now, there may be a day where you don't cover everything. Well, there's some time left, as you see, on the 7th of Wednesday, review and clean up. So as you review and clean up, if you get behind or you haven't been able to cover things, you're able to give yourself some team time to clean up and add some stuff to make sure you're ready, again, right there to travel and get ready to play. The goal for a training camp situation with your offense is put your offense in. Get your offense in so that you're ready to compete. As you start competing, as you start playing, as you start traveling, it becomes really difficult to make significant changes. You've got to get your stuff in. You've got to get your system in the training camp, in the preparation, and then slowly adapt and adjust as things go. So you can see this was our installation plan. And again, when you want to work with detail and you want to be organized, hopefully this can get you thinking as you look at your teams and you start to begin to prepare and think about what you're doing. Coaching staff. And again, I have loved the coaching staffs that we've had. We've had a lot of consistency with our coaching staff. Our guys have done a fantastic job of helping develop the culture, helping add to the whole big picture. So again, we made some adjustments to the staff after the World Cup. We wanted to try to get a couple different guys in here, specifically with Artur. But for me, guys like Wojciech Kaminski, years of solid production and great work. Krzysztof Szablowski, fantastic work over the years. Again, Miwi, Marcin, Artur, these guys have done a great job recently. But I think you want to organize your staff, one guy to have an offensive focus, one guy to have a defensive focus, and one guy to have head coach thinking. Wojciech Kaminski for years did a great job with head coach thinking, helping with advice. Artur Gronik did a really good job this last window with the head coach thinking. And again, the point is to free them up. And as a coach, you don't have all the answers, and you want to make sure you arrive at the right place. You may have an idea, you may have a thought, but again, it's really good to have great support system and great support staff to bounce ideas off of and make sure you arrive at the right spot. So the head coach thinking, I think, is an important role, and it's important to have guys focus offensively and defensively. Obviously, video is an important part. A lot of our guys have shared the video over the years, but from Marek Popiolik to Miwi to Sub-Zero to Marcin, these guys have done a fantastic job with the video. So what we like to do in games, we like to have one coach offensively thinking about offensive play calls. Let's attack this matchup. Let's try to get this guy the ball here. This is what their defensive coverage is in. And then the other thing on the defensive side is defensive matchups, defensive situation. So you try to give guys specific point to look at in the game and focus on, so that we're not just everybody looking at the same thing. Give guys certain roles, certain responsibility, so that they can be really, really efficient together. And then the position focus. You mostly have posts and perimeters. Guys will work with the post player, guy will work with the guards. But then you can even be more specific, if you have a bigger staff, players to work with point guards, players to work with wings. And again, I want to give a credit to our coaching staff. They've done a fantastic job with the game preparation. They've done a fantastic job with helping me in the game with ideas and thoughts, and also with the daily, day-to-day practice work, the game preparation, the video, everything. So they deserve tremendous amount of respect and credit. And I would encourage head coaches to really try to organize their staff to maximize their situation. We have here meeting agenda. And again, a couple points you can see here. I love our training camp times. And again, we've had some great highlight films. Sub-Zero, Krzysztof Szablowski did a great job with all of his highlight films. Marek Popiolik made a really good one this time. Again, but we try to give the guys motivation by seeing themselves play well. And again, the best plays of the World Cup was how we started our most recent, the World Cup. So the World Cup qualifiers, best plays. This was how we started our training camp. The first thing the guys saw. And again, we talked about the example teams, the beautiful ball movement of the Celtics, the beautiful ball movement of the Warriors, the Spurs, and then again, the Celtics. This for us were the examples of trying to have the players see and emphasize teamwork and ball movement and passing. So every morning for a few minutes in our morning meeting, we would take 5 minutes and just watch a little video about teamwork and ball movement. And as you can see, things move on. Some of the motivation, obviously, that fans know, coaches know, that's a big part of what I try to do. But you see here, we try to be really organized with our system installation, organized with our meetings, what we're trying to get done. Everything is planned out well before we get into the training camp and the practices. Now we talk about game preparation. And again, I've had a lot of people ask me through the years about the cheat sheet, and I have not shared it with people. We are going to share it with you guys now so that you can see. And I'll explain this as we go. But this may be a little difficult for you to see on your screen. Maybe you can screenshot it. Maybe you can, enlarge it. I don't know if David, you can help people with this. But so this was a cheat sheet. It's an example of my cheat sheet, and it's basically my game card. This one was for the USA, Team USA in the World Cup. And people will say, I want to see this cheat sheet. What do you do on the cheat sheet? What is on there? And I try to say to everyone, design your own cheat sheet. What's important for me, what's important for our system is not the same for you. It's not the same for everyone. But you can see here, we share it. The transition block is the first one. The set play block is right there. And then we have set plays for players. Again, you know, pre-game, I'll be going through and I'll highlight certain things and have it quickly there for me so I can see, like, okay, in this situation, I want to go to Panika here. I want to go to Kocharik here. If Sell, we get this mismatch, we're going to run push 4 flare, whatever. You see the basic defensive system on the right, and then Defend Team USA. These are their set plays. These are their systems here, their actions, the priority plays in the beginning, and the lesser plays at the end. Our lineups that we would try to use, and the matchups. So this would be the front side of a cheat sheet for us in terms of using our system in game preparation. Now, why have a cheat sheet? Look, the game is emotional. There's a lot of intensity in the game, and we want to be precise. We want to be prepared. You're thinking ahead when it's calm. You're thinking ahead the day before the game, a couple days before the game. You've practiced several set plays throughout the week. You've built the team up for the game and the game plan. In the heat of the moment, when there's emotion, do not rely on, oh, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to think about this. There's so much intensity, so much emotion, so much happening. It's best to look down at your cheat sheet, look down at your play card, and you've got a choice. Here's the situation, and I'm choosing between two things. I don't have to remember things, but I'm choosing between already pre-thought out situations, pre-thought out play calls. And now, as we go into the huddle, it's not like I've had to think about things and draw a blank. I've been prepared. I have my options. Here it is, A or B. I choose A. It works, it doesn't work. At least you've made a high percentage decision. You've thought it out. It's something, 90% of the time you've practiced, and it's consistent with what you do. You step into the huddle, you coach your team, players see the confidence. This guy's prepared. This guy has it. He knows what he's doing. And I think this is the structure and organization from a cheat sheet that coaches can help themselves be efficient in the game. Now, again, look at your offensive system. Look at your defensive system. Look at your coaching style and create it your own way. This is what I've done, right? But I think for coaches in Poland, coaches around the world, having a cheat sheet situation helps them become efficient in the game. And the more efficient you are, you're putting yourself in a chance to win, more often than not. So let's get down here. The last thing I want to share with everyone is our offensive performance chart. And this one, obviously, the years are updated. It's now Offensive Performance Chart 2020. But what we like to do, and again, when I was with the Vipers, working for Nick Nurse, this was something that he had me do after every D-League game. Again, we would break down the video, we would analyze it, and then we would come back the next day and have a report. The main point here, it helped me as a coach really learn to watch video, really learn to watch film, and become thorough about watching the game, reading the game, and having a trained eye. I know what I'm looking at. So I really appreciate that whole experience, and it's not fun, but it's what we've tried to help our coaching staff do through the years. So as we said before, one coach will have offense, one coach will have defense, and after the game, it's their responsibility to go watch the video and do the performance chart. Here, if you have an offensive chart, you can see at the bottom is the key, the legend, quick transition. Correct execution in transition, a quick inbound, correct lanes, ball ahead. You can grade it as a plus or minus possession by possession. And the important thing for me, it can vary from coach to coach, but as long as that coach is consistent with how they grade it, right? Consecutive passes is pretty easy. You're watching the game, boom, here's a consecutive pass. That's a number. Assist the turnovers. You can really obviously look at the box score most of the time and get it pretty consistent, right? Paint touches. Obviously, you're watching the game. That's a number. Finishes at the rim. This will be a percentage. Again, we are 3 for 4. This guy was 7 for 8 finishes at the rim. So you try to get the individual and team of all of these different areas. And shot selection is the key for me. a coach is going through and he's evaluating every player's shot selection. So a player looks down at the box score at the end of the game, and he's 1 for 5. And he's thinking to himself like, man, I'm 1 for 5. I missed all my shots. I didn't play well. But the coach evaluates it, and he's 5 for 5. You shot 5 good shots. You shot 5 of our shots, 5 of the shots that we want. So the shot selection is different than it's graded. It's different from what's in the box score. It's graded out as to Polish national team shot selection spectrum. You're creating good shots for us. And again, you see the positive reinforcement of, I'm doing the right thing. I'm shooting good shots. I didn't make them. I'm going to get in the gym and get my reps up and get my work in so I can make these shots, but I'm going in the right direction. So you talk about pace, consecutive passes, assist to turnover, paint touch, finish at the rim, shot selection. And the main point here is you can compare from game to game. Fellas, we many meetings, Mealy would do the offense and he would stand in front of the team and talk about, fellas, we didn't have very good quick transition. You could see our numbers were low compared to the last one. So again, the paint touches, many times we would see Mateusz Panika have really high numbers there, really being active and attacking the rim. But this is something that gives your team feedback in your system beyond the box score. And again, I would encourage coaches, what is important to you? Make a performance chart that helps you teach and coach and emphasize your system, right? So these are some of the main points that we'd like to talk about. With that said, I want to say thank you to everybody. I put a lot of information here. It's not so much X's and O's. It's more about, let's say, concepts and structure and organization. But it's important to me to share a lot of these details from the Polish national team run in China. These are things that I think can help a lot of coaches in Poland. I really want to share these things with everybody. I'm so proud of what our team did and where our team has developed to. Proud of the coaches and the players. And I want to see the game continue to grow within Poland. In my years, I've been really impressed. Poland has a love for basketball. I have so much respect for the coaches and the players throughout the Polish league, everybody. And, again, I'm really so thankful that we've had a wonderful experience together with the national team. So with that said, David, if there's any questions or anything like that, I don't know how you want to try to manage these, but I'm more than open to spend some time here answering some questions.
Okay, Coach, thank you for a lot of information. That was a lot of information. And so maybe the question the next time we have some project that will like one-on-one with coaches. So, all right. And that's something like that. So thank you for amazing presentation and thank you for your energy like every day. All right. And I wish you all the best and stay home.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it. And please say hello to friends in Poland and friends in Polish basketball. Look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Ciao.